Good morning, everybody. How are you? What is going on with my hat? I got a fuzzy. Anyway, good morning to you. I am doing a retro react today. Before I get into the retro react, and this was from over 2 years ago, this was during the Natter Chantal arc, the Crackhead Olympics. I would like to give a little disclaimer and warning to some of those of you in my audience. For those of you that get triggered over the subject of DV or SA, this video is going to be mentioning the subject of DV and SA. So if you're someone that just the mere mention of it or talk about it might trigger you in some way, you might want to skip this video because I certainly don't want to trigger anyone in my audience with those subjects. So why am I doing the retro react to the video we're about to review? Well, a few reasons. One of those reasons being because I'm tired of Chantal calling herself a victim or painting the picture that she's some kind of victim when she never has been a victim. She paints the picture that she went through horrible abuse at the hands of Natter. She claims physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, although all the arrows point in the direction that she really did not suffer any of those things. She just claimed that she did. Another reason is because there's lots of people on Chantal's channel, new beezers, that they came into the game late. They weren't around for years and years like some of us have been. They don't know all the Chantal lore. And if they went on Chantal's channel, there's a lot of stuff missing, and it's missing on purpose. Chantal gets rid of anything on her channel that would come back to haunt her and make her look bad. But the evidence is out there anyway, courtesy of the archive channels and the clip channels, such as Meandering Thoughts, which is where this clip is located. And I'm going to leave a link in the description for anybody who wants to watch it on her channel. I want to bring it back around because even now in Kuwait, Chantal is pointing her finger at things that happened in her past as the reason why she is not getting healthy. She's not changing herself. Oh, I went through so much, you guys. I went through so much. You guys don't understand. Chantal, I've been through SA and DV for real. And I can look you dead in the eyes and I can tell you ain't been through nothing. You really haven't. But you continue to lie about it because you desperately want to be a victim, just so you can place the blame of whatever's going on with you on somebody else. You don't want to take accountability for yourself. You don't want to take responsibility for yourself. You want to make everything everyone else's fault. So let's set the stage for this clip. Let's give some context for those who weren't around at this time. This stream was done, Chantal went on a road trip. I can't remember the exact details of where she was going. I believe she went across the border and had to come back again. But on her way back, she was having an absolute meltdown about Natter and Didi. And in the clip, she confesses that even after she went to the authorities to get him in trouble with the authorities, she went to the cops to tell them about her alleged abuse. After those allegations, she went to his house with a care package with coffee and green products. Imagine that. Having somebody that's your abuser, and then after said allegations, almost directly after, you're going to their house with coffee and some devil's lettuce. And you're expecting to be welcomed. And when you're not, having a meltdown about that. That's what she did. That's another thing that looks rather funny to someone like me. Someone has done horrific abuse to you, but yet when you report them to the cops after alleged abuse, you're going to their house as if they're supposed to just open the door and welcome you with open arms. Yeah, I got my thoughts to all of this, and I wanted to get them to all of you. But again, if the subjects of SA or DV are triggering to you, please don't watch this. Please don't. It'd be a good idea. I don't want to trigger anybody, but it's time to show those who do not know how much of a victim she really is. Spoiler, she's not really a victim. She's not. She's not been through anything. She's not endured anything. She can't call herself a true survivor. She's just someone that uses victimhood as a means to get attention on YouTube and to make money, claiming things that happened to her that never really happened. So why don't I just bring up the clip and we'll watch it together. And it's a very brief clip. It doesn't go on for very long. It's 16 minutes and 44 seconds. And again, I will put the link for the original clip from Meandering Thoughts channel down there in the description. And you guys can watch it if you want. You can subscribe to Meandering Thoughts if you like. Certainly, she has lots of archive clips there for anybody who wants to see things from Chantal's past. All right. So let's get going, okay? Let's do this.
To have to, like, come on here and cry again.
And sorry about that. Sorry about that. We're going to go back. It's wrong button.
Or you knew me. You ruined your own reputation. But
sorry about that, folks. I pressed the wrong button. Apologies. Let's go. So this is from the deleted stream. F you, both you deserve this. This was March 1st, 2022. So I'm giving a date here. This is not on Chantal's channel. Anytime she did a meltdown stream or a live stream or a video where she went off on Nadz, threatened Nadz, basically the video or the live stream wasn't really so much about her talking to her audience. It was her talking to him. She would often do that too. Like if Nadz refused to talk to her on the phone, she would get on her channel and essentially the stream was directed at him. But for context, March 1st, 2022. So this was 2 years ago.
So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
And the volume's going to be a little low because she's driving. You got the driving noise in the background. I'm doing the best I can. I got the volume all the way up.
Sorry. To have to, like, come on here and cry again and just... I'm doing this because I'm, like, half out of my mind. And because I want you to hurt. I want you to fucking hurt like I hurt. I want you to feel pain. I want you to burn in the fiery depths of fucking hell.
That part, why does that matter? What she just said. I want you to burn. I want you to hurt. Notice what she didn't say. Notice what she did not say to the camera. She did not say, I want justice for the hurt that you caused me. It's all wrathful words. I want you to hurt. I want you to burn. But she did not say, I want justice because you hurt me physically, mentally, emotionally. I want justice for all of that. No, she's all about the wrath. And that is Chantal to a T. She is the 7 deadly sins all wrapped into one body, including wrath. And the wrong that Nadz did to her, the worst wrong for her is he did not give her what she wanted. He didn't give her control. She couldn't get control of Nadz. He didn't want to be with her, even after she offered tons and tons of money to Nadz. Imagine that. Being so awful that a crackhead who loves money turns down your money, says, no, thank you, ma'am. No. But that's what he did. He turned on all the money from Chantal, said no, and he wanted to be with Didi because she, I guess, was just too much to handle. Like, she is a hurricane, our girl. He turned her down. He didn't want to spend time with Chantal. And this is why she's having the absolute meltdown of the century.
Called the cops on you. I ruined your reputation, even though you were fucking McStabby before you knew me. You ruined your own reputation. But everything I did to you doesn't even isn't even a fraction of the fucking emotional and mental torment you put me through and you continue to put me through every fucking day.
That part too. Emotional and mental torment. Can an abuser deliver emotional and mental torment? Absolutely. And sometimes words can hurt just as much, if not more so, than any fist or punch or kick, because they cause bruises that bruise you on the inside. And sometimes that takes years to heal. But notice the part she left out, the physical hurt. And that was something at times the thing that Chantal claimed Nader did to her. Like, he hurt me physically. She claimed that he hit her so hard that she saw stars. But there was no evidence of that. Yeah. So, emotional, mental torment, which an abuser can do to you, and that can be mentally, emotionally debilitating. That can be something you carry a lifelong scar over. But she claimed the physical abuse as well, many times over. Not talking about that, not mentioning that, not at all.
And I can't fucking do it. I'm just watching the road, guys. If I get too upset, I'll just pull over. Every day. Like, you are a womanizing, using piece of shit. You literally are the biggest scum of the earth. And I don't get why nobody else in the fucking world, except for me and maybe two other people, fucking see it.
Meandering says, well, people do see it. They warned you before you ever went to his place for the first time. And that is absolutely true. Little interesting fact about the reaction channels, or even people who aren't the reaction channels. There's a form called Kiwi Farms. Once Chantal started talking about Nader, the Kiwi farmers were all over it. They were digging up stuff on Nader. And people that were on her channel that went over to Kiwi Farms, they reported back to Chantal about the findings, about everything the farmers found out about Nader. Likewise, believe it or not, the reaction channels. Like, he was caught on different Tinder sites, single sites, looking around for women. That was made public. Chantal still didn't care. This was before she got in too deep with Nader, but still, she decided to keep seeing him. She decided to. And in my personal opinion, unlike Chantal, and no, I'm not taking up for Nader, but unlike Chantal, Nader did not hide who he was or what he was about. He stayed the same the entire way. He didn't come out with one personality and then switch to something different. But that's what Chantal did. In the beginning, when she saw Nader, she had an entirely different personality. You know, soft spoken, a bit more submissive, always made sure to have her makeup on, putting lotion on herself, the body mist, wearing her wigs, always made sure to look her best. Acting the submissive as much as she could for Nader. But then over the course of time, she started to let more and more of her real self out. And she does that with men. She even confessed in one video that that's what she does with men to get accepted by a man. Whatever it takes to get accepted, she will play that part until she reaches a point where she feels like she's got him, she's trapped him, he's not going to get away, or maybe he's too emotionally attached, and then she lets her real self out. Certainly that's what she did with Natter. And to keep him around, she just offered him more money. The more disgusted he was with her, the more he wanted to pull away, the more money she would throw at him. Isn't it interesting that that seems to be the pattern now with Salah? I'm sure he's reached that point with her that she's just too much to handle. So to keep him around, she offers him more money, or she buys him more expensive toys, like the car, or the Apple iPhone, or the computer, just to keep him around a little bit longer. Thing is, Chantal, that game you've been playing, you're running out of money. You can't afford to keep buying all those expensive gifts. Like, you wear a man out, they're going to reach a point where they say no amount of money is going to keep me here. But that's a pattern that you're never going to break. You think money excuses everything, but let's keep going.
Because you're manipulative and you lie. You lie and people fucking believe you just like I did. And now I look crazy. And that's what you fucking want.
Did you catch that part? She caught herself and she stopped. She said, everybody believes you, and then she stopped herself from saying, from me looking stupid. That's the narcissist in her. She doesn't like to look stupid. She doesn't like to look foolish or feel foolish. That's her pride. Her pride got hurt. You know, it's really funny when you think about it. It really is. Because Natter, although he's different in appearance, he's Chantal's reflection. He is the male version of Chantal in every way. When she looked at him, she was looking in the mirror. Every attribute that she hates about Natter is present within herself. He is her reflection. And she does not like what she sees when she looks at him. She likes having those attributes for herself, but she doesn't like those same attributes in someone else being used against her. I've always found it funny that, when those two came together, what we had, ladies and gentlemen, were two people who were both scammers, liars, manipulators, sleazy con artists, that they came together and they, in their ego, underestimated each other. He looked at her and thought, oh, she's just some fat, desperate, love-hungry, affection-dehydrated loser. She's stupid. I can use her. I can get the money out of her so easy. And she looked at him and thought, he's just some desperate crackhead. He's dumb. I could use him too. And because they did not, come to the table expecting the unexpected, they locked horns and they figured out they underestimated their opponent. All the war games that went on, the power plays, the power struggles, the tug of war. That's what led to all of the drama for over a year. Each one trying to get control of the other. And in the end, Chantal didn't get control. Despite the many thousands of dollars she spent on Natter, all the things she did, all the things she tried, getting online, blasting him over and over again in live streams, doxing him, doxing Dee Dee's mom, threatening to send the authorities after him. Nothing worked. At the end of the day, Dee has Natter. Natter still lives with Dee. He never went to Chantal. And Chantal's a sore loser. She doesn't like to lose. For the first time in her life, she met a man that told her no. And for the first time in her life, she met a man that said no, and no has to stick. She couldn't get him. And that was the one she really wanted, honestly. Salah is just a stand-in for what she really wants. He will always be a stand-in. She's bored with Salah, but she has Salah because she can have him. But if Nader made one phone call to Chantal and said, I'm ready for you, she would drop Salah in a heartbeat and go back. Salah is about ego, maintaining her ego. She can't maintain her ego if she's single and alone. She has to have a man around to maintain part of her ego. But Nader was the one she really, really wanted. And even to this day, she still talks about him, even when she doesn't have to. And if he was so abusive, she shouldn't even be thinking about him.
So I hope you're fucking happy. But you know what? I'll be crazy any day of the week over a cold-hearted fucking soulless piece of fucking shit like yourself. You have no soul, and you honestly deserve everything you get. Every fucking thing you get. I cannot believe I felt sorry for you for 2 fucking minutes. Oh my god. I cannot believe I fucking felt sorry for him for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh my god.
Another interesting tidbit for those who might want to know. Going back in time for just a minute, Chantal said some very interesting things that I don't think I've heard anybody else say. They seem rather unique to her. So, interesting tidbit number one. In one of her live streams, she mentioned that she thought that guys who were in jail for a long time, it would be a hot idea to find a man who had just gotten out of jail because they're so horned up and desperate, they'll have sex with anybody. She wanted to find a man like that. Interesting tidbit number two. While she was in Cuba, she did a live stream, and I will never forget her saying this because I'm like, what is wrong with you? She said that her fantasy was to have Nader go to jail and be there for him when he got out. Isn't that something? Having a fantasy like that, that's a sexual fantasy. And she almost got that fantasy. She tried to put Nader in jail just because she didn't get what she wanted when she wanted it. And Chantal's that kind of a twisted individual that she would enjoy sending a man to jail for the sheer fact that if he's in jail, he's around other men and he's not around other women, and therefore she can control him. He's going to be there for a long time, and she can say, that's my man, but she can be absolutely certain he's not around other women. That's where her mind goes. It's about control, and it's about controlling a man. But yeah, that points at the kind of mind and mindset Chantal has. So sending a man to jail, it's not about some serious wrong that's been done to her. It's about having fantasies revolving around sick control, keeping control, trapping them with her to where they can't escape, having them codependent on her. Even now, in the present day, she's got Salah. And it's about maintaining control over Salah. At the same time, in her life, she's out of control with herself.
God. Fucking. And you, Dee Dee, I don't fucking understand you. You have no brain in your head. You are a fucking bitch. I hate you. This is... You two do it on fucking purpose to drive me nuts.
Meandering says, I know, unpopular opinion, but I've been saying this since Christmas. They know she is unstable and they still play with her. And that is something bad will happen and that it can go either way. Well, Chantal allowed herself to be played with like that. Again, she could have blocked his number. She could have stopped talking about him on her channel, moved on, not gone over to his house. That would have been that. Every single time that she saw Nader, she had to physically drive to his location. Nader didn't have a car. He could not drive to Chantal's place. If he went to Chantal's place, it was because he got an Uber that Chantal paid for. Just stay away. But the reason why Nader used Dee Dee to get at Chantal is because it was a method that worked. It absolutely worked. He knew that was a way to get Chantal to pay more money to get him away from Dee Dee. So it would be an endless poisonous cycle of Chantal would give him money. He would want more. He would want to get control of Chantal and her money. So he would use her insecurities and jealousies against her. He would have Dee Dee come around. Chantal would be foaming at the mouth and go into a frenzy to see Nader, because in her words, she was addicted to Nader, the same way that she now claims she's addicted to Salah. And because she's addicted to Nader, you know, she's got to have her Nader fix. She would do anything, pay anything to get Dee Dee away. So she would pay more money. Nader would send Dee Dee home for a little bit, see Chantal for a very short while, kick her out, bring Dee Dee back, and then allow the rinse repeat. She allowed that cycle to happen.
Nader, you are a fucking piece of shit. This is what you do every time. Every time I don't do what you want me to fucking do, and I leave your sorry little scrawny little fucking pathetic ass for more than a day, you call Dee Dee's stupid desperate Lulu down, and you two fuck with my brain, and you fucking do it every time.
You know, right here, she's doing things backwards, I feel. She's talking backwards. If you switch everything to the opposite end, it makes more sense. And I think it's much more truthful. So she's saying that Nader would absolutely lose his mind if Chantal isn't there every single day. Switch it backwards. Back to Chantal. I think the more truthful statement is that Chantal would be frenzied if she wasn't over there every single day. Because Nader proved that if Chantal wasn't there, he's talking to other people. He's spending time with Dee Dee. He was just fine. He wasn't going out of his mind if Chantal wasn't there. He was actually relieved when she wasn't there. He only put up with her as long as he had to. But Chantal was the frenzied one, blowing up his phone. I'm sorry, the phone that she bought him and the phone service that she paid for willingly. Blowing up his phone, leaving him voicemail after voicemail, text message after text message, getting frenzied, getting on her channel, trying to talk to him through her channel since he wasn't picking up the phone. She was the frenzied one. She was the crazed one, desperate for contact because she had nothing else to do in her day, nothing else to occupy her mind, no hobbies, no interest, nothing but YouTube. And the only other thing she did in her physical life at that time was to go see Nader, talk to Nader. So if he wasn't there, she would just be spinning her wheels. But acting like Nader was falling apart without her. No, he wasn't. He was just fine.
For example, and yes, I'm gonna get in shit for this too, but I don't give a fuck at this.
Okay, pay attention to this part. This part right here coming up. And keep in mind, please keep in mind, this is a woman who claims to be a victim. Even in present day, she claims to be a victim. She's claimed that Nader committed SA and DV on her. I remember all the live streams she did where she sat and she would talk for hours, allegedly, about things that happened to her in detail, saying that he hit her so hard that she saw stars, that he would not let her leave the house, that he was possessive of her. And please remember, in the beginning of them seeing each other, this is the same woman that when things were really good and she was seeing him, she was glowing coming home with bruises on her chest, and those bruises were not a problem. That's another thing that looks funny to me. If somebody is putting bruises on your body, and if they were abusive bruises, if something had happened that was not within your consent, not within your will, something you did not want, you certainly would not show off those bruises. You'd be hiding them out of shame and embarrassment. You wouldn't point them out, but she did. When they were good, those bruises were rough sex. Oh, look at me, I had rough sex. But then in moments where they were not good, or she was peeved with him in some way, suddenly those things became abuse. You can't change the record mid-song, Chantal, and expect the music to match. So if she wasn't good with him, it's abusive. If they were good, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But she claimed that Nader was abusive to her. She went to the cops, allegedly. Said she was going to file charges because she was frenzied to get Dee Dee away from him. That was her power play. Dee Dee's over at Nader's house. I want her gone so I can go over there and spend time alone with Nader. So what am I going to do? Like, everything else I'm doing is not working. I'm going to threaten the authorities on Nader because he's got a criminal history. I'm going to use that against him. I'm going to use that as a power play. And maybe if I do that, he's going to get scared. She's going to get scared. She'll go home to Montreal. Nader will be home by himself. And I can have him all to myself. That's how evil this woman is. That's how far she'll go. Going to the cops just to have alone time with a man that she claims abused her. I'm sorry. If somebody's abused you, you're going to the authorities. That's it. That means you want to be away from that person. That means you should stay away. You're done. You should only go to the authorities if you want justice for tremendous wrong done to you, not use them as some manipulating ploy to get your way like a child. That's not what the legal system is for, but that's what she tried to use it for. So she allegedly went to the cops, or at least the threat was there. Don't know if she actually went. And then after doing that, after showing that much of a threat, she went to Nader's place with coffee and green products, expecting to be welcomed like what she did was no big deal. And she wonders why Nader did not want to spend time with her, like she was unhinged. He's got a criminal past, and an unhinged, jealous, insecure woman is a threat. Like, that's a whole lot of gunpowder you don't want going off. But she went to his house after doing those things, expecting to be let in. And she got mad because she wasn't let in. And so here she is throwing a temper tantrum.
At this point, in case you didn't notice, I don't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck what happens to you now. So now you're really, really, you know what? I don't even give a fuck what happens to me. So, yeah. So, oh my God, why? You guys are gonna hate me so bad. You fucking lie to me. Like, really? You have this fucking bitch there for a month? Like, when just 2 days before she came over, I was sleeping there every single day? So then whenever I'm not good enough for you and you've used me up, you call her over to take my fucking place like I'm a piece of fucking trash, and now I have to fucking go to therapy every fucking week because of you.
That's a lie. She's never been to therapy. She's scheduled appointments, but she's never gone to therapy. Let's make that clear. During this time period, she was not going to therapy. She was not. There's no possible way. She was doing live streams every single freaking day. 6 to 10 hours a day, every day. She would turn on the camera as soon as she opened her eyes, and she wouldn't turn it off until she closed her eyes again. 6 to 10 hours, or maybe 12 hours a day of live streams. If you're live streaming constantly, when do you have time to go to therapy? Where's those therapy sessions? There's no way she did. Chantal does not do therapy, even though she should. She has said, I don't do therapy. She does not want to sit in a room with somebody and talk to them and work out her problems. She wants to sit online and trauma dump and problem dump on her audience because it's free therapy. It's a free venting session that she can get paid for because she can monetize her issues versus treat her issues. There was never any therapy at this time.
I fucking hate you. I hate you. You fucking user. Like, seriously, I cannot, like, okay, you tell me what you think about this, okay? I had a really, really bad weak moment, and I don't know how the conversation started. I was talking to Debbie on Messenger.
Isn't that odd? That right, just before we go any further, does that strike anyone as odd? So Nader was Chantal's love interest. Here's Debbie, who's now with Nader. And because Dee was with Nader, she hates her. You took my man away. Yet here she is talking to Dee on Facebook. Excuse me? You're talking to your rival on Facebook. If you hate somebody so much, if they took your man, why are you talking to him? But she did. And she was talking to Dee because she wanted to get to Nader, and that was the only way to do it because Nader wouldn't talk to her directly. But let's keep going.
He's not supposed to see me or talk to me. I ended up going over there. Yes, I did. And I'm so fucking stupid.
So for anyone on Chantal's channel, any Beezer that might wander over here, just let it sink in what she just said. Chantal has claimed that Nader did horrible things to her, that he committed DV and SA on her. She spent hours and hours and hours and hours every night talking about things in detail, which for me, having actually gone through those things, that was a red flag. That was an absolute red flag that something ain't right here. Because anybody who's been through those things, they can't get online in front of an audience and talk about those things. If you've been through that kind of trauma, it hurts too much to even just think about it, let alone talk about it. And if you do talk about it, it's with someone you trust, someone in confidence, not in front of a camera. And usually the way it goes, as you're thinking about what happened to you, you're having perhaps a visceral reaction at the same time. You're reliving it in your mind. And it's hard to talk about. You're getting out little bits and pieces. Chantal would get online and talk about it with no visceral reaction. Just give out the details. And why does she do it? Manipulation, profit, looking for people in her audience that are broken, that have gone through that trauma. She wanted to profit off of their trauma. They would listen to Chantal, they'd feel some kind of empathy, some kind of trauma bonding. They would feel sympathetic for her, and they give her money. Chantal made lots of money during that arc. People sending her sympathetic super chats. People in her audience saying, I've been through that. I hope you're okay and healing, and, you know, good people, kind people that have just been through the worst kind of hell. That arc was so profitable that she brought up the subjects of DV and SA multiple times, even though those two subjects are very triggering for people. Yet, as someone that claims to be a victim, she didn't care how she affected her audience. She didn't care about that snowball effect of her talking about it would lead to her audience talking about it, them thinking about what happened to them. They would relive the pain in their mind and in their soul. She wanted to keep that wheel turning as long as dollar bills were attached to it. But imagine a supposed victim of DV and SA. You're going back to the house of your abuser, knocking on their door with coffee and green products. I'm sorry, if somebody's abused you, that'd be the last thing you'd want to do. You want to stay away from your abuser. You're afraid of your abuser. You don't want to be anywhere near them. You'll move thousands of miles away to get away from it if you can. You'll change your number. You'll change your name. You do whatever you have to do to put some space between yourself and that person. You don't even want to think of their name. How can anybody who's been physically abused, verbally abused, is afraid of them in any way, want to be anywhere near the person guilty of those things? To be in an enclosed space with that person would almost send you into a panic if it were real. You'd be afraid for your safety. Chantal never was. She was never afraid of Natter. Never. To the point where she would meet up with him in motel and hotel rooms alone, unsupervised, spend time with him, hang out with him, party with him. You could never do that if you were a true victim. Ever.
Because I don't know, I just thought, oh, you just called the cops on him and fucking accused him of sexual assault and everything. Oh, yeah, you can just go back over there and and just kick Dee Dee out and everything will be fucking normal.
So somebody commits SA and DV on you and you want to go back over there and it's supposed to be normal? Pardon me, ma'am. Pardon me. Look, I'm not laughing at DV or SA. I'm laughing at the ridiculousness of her and the whole situation and her lies, because that's exactly what they were. They were lies. And I'm pissed off because there are lots of people that have been through SA and DV. We've been through that. We are true victims who became survivors because we lived through that and we found our way out. And for some reason, she wants to put on that trauma like a Girl Scout badge and wear it and blame it for all the things she's still doing now. Oh, I'm overeating and I have a problem with food because of the things that I've been through. No, ma'am. No. No. You had a problem with food that's gone all the way back, even before YouTube. You've talked about things on your channel about being young and your parents, your family, putting you in a treatment center for that. You can't blame your issues on other people, saying they are to blame. It's you. You are the common denominator. I know you like to point your little finger at people and say it's their fault, but you are the common denominator of all of that pain and those issues. You are the one hurting yourself. No one else is hurting you. You hurt yourself, but you want to be the victim because it means whatever's going on is not your fault. You are not responsible. Here's something else. She's stated stats of people who've been through DV, saying it takes 8 out of 10 times for DV victims to stay away from their abuser. Here's how her situation is different. A lot of people who go back to the person that hurt them is because they have nowhere else to go. They have no money. They have no other place to be. They have no family, no friends. They feel trapped. They feel helpless. And sometimes when you're in that situation, you want to get out. You are scared about what will happen to you if you try to get out, if you try to escape and your abuser finds you. You are absolutely terrified of the consequences. You wonder, is this person going to take my life? Like, what's going to happen here? Are they going to go into a rage? And if I'm alone, can I defend myself? That was not Chantal's situation. Again, she had her own car. She had her own money. She had her own home. She could have stayed away. She was not in a trapped with my abuser situation. She literally kept going back. So, Meandering says, hey, Chantal, I believed you that something happened, but I really didn't believe that part. So you just accused him of SA. By the way, before we go any further, another interesting tidbit. Those that don't know, you need to know. Chantal said she over-exaggerated her claims. Yeah. She said she over-exaggerated. Who does that? Who makes claims of SA and then over-exaggerates things? If you've been through those things, all you need is the truth. If the truth is the truth, that's all that's required. You don't have to over-exaggerate things. You over-exaggerate things when you lie. And you want people to believe your lie. But a lie is not the truth, is it? Going forward, and then really thought you could just go back over there and he'll kick Dee Dee out and you can live with him happily ever after. Seek help, inpatient psychiatric help. You're delusional to the point where you might be a danger to yourself or others. I agree with that. She needs all kinds of help. Physical help, emotional help, psychological help, therapy. There's that word again, therapy. She needs therapy. It would help straighten her out. As long as she's running around unchecked, she's a danger to herself and potentially others. Moving forward.
I don't even know what I was doing. I fucking went over there. I even fucking brought coffee.
I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't imagine having an abusive person in my life and running over to their house with coffee. Like, hey, let's have a coffee date right here, right now. What? Pardon me? No. No, no, no. No, if somebody hurts you, you stay away from them. You get away, you stay away, you move away, you do whatever you have to do to get your life together, to start the healing. You don't run the fuck back over there with coffee. No, 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 no. But that's what she did. This abusive person with the black-eyed rage that she was so afraid of, talking about she needed a safety word, like safe paper clips. I need a safe word. And she told the safe word to thousands of people on her channel. You know, like, how can it be a safety word if everybody knows it now? He knows it too. Just the ridiculousness of it all. Again, I'm not making fun of people who've been through DV or SA. That's not what this is. I'm pointing out the ridiculousness of her claims. And here's something else. Chantal likes to paint the picture halfway. Her side. She wants us to hear her side. And she's always going to paint her side in her favor, saying that Nader was abusive. He was the awful one, blah, blah, blah. But here's the other half of the picture. Just something to think about. Chantal has self-confessed to being verbally abusive. She might even be physically abusive for all we know. She does have a temper. None of us were in the room to see what happened or how it happened, but she has confessed to being verbally abusive. So, what if the whole picture is her and Natter were verbally abusive to each other? What if they had fights, verbal fights, that just stayed as verbal fights? And she's claiming something physical happened when it didn't. Or maybe it did, and maybe they were both involved. She's not going to talk about that part. Not going to mention that. She's going to paint the picture of Natter just would go off on her for no reason, no provocation. Although anybody that watches Chantal, she's a very provocative person. She likes to aggravate. She likes to provoke. I'm not saying anybody who gets into an argument should be physically touched. Nope. But she does like to provoke. So if they were arguing, what was her part? What happened? What really happened? Like, why don't you talk about how abusive you are, Foodie? Why don't you mention that? You don't want your viewers to know that, but they should know that.
And I brought weed.
Okay, Meandering says, and how much money did you bring? And was this before he went to Adonis with Dee Dee and bought a cart full of food? Yeah, Chantal did that. Always making sure to buy Natter food. Here's the silly thing. I noticed during that time period that Natter, when he did his cooking streams, he had the best of food, like expensive food, lots of it, to do his cooking videos. So Chantal would spend tons of money on lobster and steak and whatever else, like the best healthy food. And meanwhile, she would be over in her corner eating the cheapest fast food just so she could buy Natter food for his cooking videos so that he would keep seeing her. Anybody notice that pattern now? Do y'all notice that when she did her grocery haul, there's lots of healthy food that she's not eating? She's eating the cheap junk, making sure to keep Salah happy. Like she might be buying groceries for his family or somebody. I don't think all that food was for her. But trying to keep the men in her life happy, buying them what they want or what they require, her continue to eat the cheap junk just so she can balance it out. But Chantal never went to Natter's house empty handed because he did not want her there. If she did not have some sort of money or gifts, she was not admitted into Club Natter. She got stuck at the velvet rope, could not get in the door. To get in the door, she would buy him food, liquor, bring over the party favors. That's how she got admitted.
I'm a fucking idiot. It's like I fucking hate him and I don't know how to stay away. So I go there and I promise not to tell anybody. But then I turn your fucking phone on.
That was something else that happened. Little backstory with that. Chantal not only bought Natter a phone, she paid for the phone service just so he couldn't turn off the phone service. He couldn't turn off the phone. Another little ploy to have control over him. To make sure that he talked to her, she bought the phone and she paid for the phone service. So she would have that access to him always. And then she would have moments where she would get mad at Natter, turn off the phone, then turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on, to the point where the phone company, which they just got suspicious and she had to talk to them personally because they didn't know what was going on. They had no idea what was going on. The power play games, the war games between them. Sometimes Chantal would get mad and delete his live streams off his channel because she had administrative purposes. Again, just trying to get control over him, and she never did.
For you. Because I care about you and I only ever did.
Meandering says, yeah, like I said, I believe some of what you said, but now you care about him. Are you nuts? Well, stupid question. Right.
Oh, not so much anymore. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Anyways, I turn the phone on. I leave so this fucker can go live with my fucking ring light always. But I do nothing for you. Okay, and then what? And then Dee Dee comes down, starts doing fucking dishes, acts like she's his fucking mother. She's mediating basically our conversation. Like, I don't think that's a good idea right now, Chantel. You could get in a lot of trouble.
So she made these allegations against Natter. She went to the cops, or at least she made a big 3-ring circus show out of it. And after that, like, she's wanting to sneak over to his house with no fear. That was another thing that always looked weird to me. Chantal looked off, claiming that all these things happened with Natter, and yet you were constantly provoking him, and you did it with no fear. Anybody who's ever been hurt that way, you are afraid of the person who's hurt you. Yet she would constantly get in his face, yelling and screaming on live stream to him, provoking him, purposely provoking him. Kind of points in the direction that she really wasn't a victim because she had no fear. You've been hurt like that, you got fear. You got it all day long. She never had it. She felt secure enough to go over there and talk to him.
Okay, but you let me come over. So you let me come over.
The thing is, though, if you were a real victim, why would you want to go over? Why would you want to go over there in the first place? Why wouldn't you want to stay away? You never want to really stay away. Tell the truth, Chantal. He never did anything physically to you, because if he did, you would have been scared. You would have been worried. You would have said, nope, I don't want whatever happened to happen again. I don't want to be anywhere near that. But you had no fear. You had no fear because nothing fucking happened. Liar.
And talk to you alone. Ask me what I want. Like, ask me, like, what do you want? Like, basically, like, make it seem like we're going, like, things are okay. And then
Meandering says, you really thought after the police report things are okay? He just wanted your money again and his phone turned back on, you airhead. Right? Again, like, ladies and gentlemen, in the ring are 2 contenders, both manipulators, both scammers. Who can out-scam and out-con and out-lie the other? We shall see. He knew how to play you, Chantal, and you were so stupid you let it happen because you were so desperate for attention. He got your money. He got his phone turned back on. He got what he wanted, then he kicked you out. And you over there thinking that you're smarter than the average bear. You let it happen over and over and over again, and you never put a stop to it. Never. The player got played.
I leave, and then I call you on the phone I pay for.
And that's another pattern with Chantal. She likes to lie to herself and say, I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. No, she isn't. No, no, no. No, no, she's not truly nice. Her nice does not come from a good heart. Nice that comes from a truly good, generous heart. That's real nice. She's the fake, phony, manipulative nice. Her nice comes at a price. It's transactional. You give to me, I give to you. The more I give you, the more I expect back. Equal share for equal share. But Chantal does things this way. She'll come at a man being generous, being mishelpful. Oh, I see you have problems with money. Here, let me pay some bills for you. Let me pay your rent. Just hang out with me. Let me pay your phone bill. Let me buy your groceries. You know, acting generous. Then she lures you further into her web. Here, let me make a YouTube channel for you. Not only will I make it for you and set it up for you, I'll film content for you. I'll do your thumbnails. I'll promote you on my channel. I'll tell people about you. Speaking of that, thinking about that right now, Chantal, in the very beginnings of your channel, you told people about how scary Natter was. how abusive he was. And yet, you decided to introduce him to YouTube, put him in front of other women, knowing how he likes to talk to other women, but exposing him to the public, to women. You gave him an audience, gave this abuser, alleged abuser, an audience, knowing how awful he was. Why would you do that if he was so bad? Why? If you were someone you had been abused, how could you, in good conscience, put him in front of people, knowing that he's going to be surrounded by women? He might be talking to other women off camera, and they might have to deal with something later. Yeah, again, red flag, weird behavior.
For you to be able to communicate with your fucking family and you don't answer it. I call him, he doesn't answer the phone. He gets Debbie to fucking message me. He gets Debbie the nerve to message me and be like, Debbie, who's part of the fucking problem, who has no problem inserting herself because you probably beg her because you are a coward. You're not a real man. You can't even be alone for 5 minutes.
That sounds like you, Chantal. I think you are putting your issues on Natter. That's projection right there. She can't be alone for 5 minutes. And it's been anyone that's been watching Chantal for years. Have we ever seen her be alone for more than 5 minutes? Have we ever seen a period where she lived completely alone, no roommate, no nothing? Never. That's never occurred. She doesn't know how to be alone. That was projection, claiming that he can't be alone and it's actually her. She doesn't know how to be alone.
And what the fuck are you mad at me for going to Windsor alone for anyway? You do not remember the bottle of tequila you drank before Windsor and screaming in my face all night? Do you not remember that? Or what? Oh yeah, so Soria's a little apprehensive to bring you to another fucking city 8 hours away. And instead of saying sorry.
So a little context for those who are wondering, what is she talking about? So Chantal went to Windsor to do a photo shoot with Carly. She wanted to go to Windsor and do a photo shoot with Carly, I guess for OnlyFans. And she did the photo shoot. I guess Natter wanted to go with her, but Chantal did not want Natter to go with her to Windsor. More than likely because of her insecurity and jealousy, because Carly is a very attractive woman. And although Carly does have a boyfriend, and there was no possible way that Natter would do anything with Carly, Carly did not want Natter. Chantal does not like other women, and she doesn't like other women being competition with her, even indirectly, for Natter's attention. So she didn't purposely take Natter. She did not want to see Natter looking at Carly in any sort of way. So she left him behind, and I guess there was a big fight about that.
Or you invite Dee Dee over. Hey, maybe I screamed in my...
Also, I think that was, again, the power plays, the war games, the struggles. Chantal trying to get control of Natter, saying, I'll do what I want. You can't tell me what to do. I'll go where I please. You're the sugar baby. I'm the sugar mama. I can go where I want. Her punishing him, perhaps for being with Dee Dee, and him basically punishing her back by not wanting to see her.
My girlfriend's face all night. Maybe she didn't fucking like that.
Meandering says, if he was screaming at you all night, why do you care who he has over? Just stay away, maybe? Yeah, stay away. He's abusive. He's awful. He's a piece of crap. Stay away. No, not Chantal.
No, because you never do anything wrong. You don't even cook. You don't even... Oh, fuck. Raw chicken's even beyond King Natter, right? Yeah. You need to humble yourself, pal. Oh, my God. I've never met somebody like this in my fucking life, and not in a good way.
Yep. I believe that. I believe she's telling the truth here. I've never met anyone like you in my life, Natter. She was telling the truth. Before Natter, she had never met anyone like Natter that stood up to her and said no. This was the first time that she met someone that she could not manipulate her way around, couldn't get around, someone who stood up to her. And I believe that was part of the fascination with Natter. The absolute fascination of, oh my God, I'm meeting someone that I cannot control. This is the person I can't completely step on and control and play games with, because if I do, he'll play games right back. Like the wars that went on with these two during this time period, all for control, manipulation, and money.
You are going to push me over the fucking edge. Like, you've already pushed me over the edge. I've never fucking been through this shit with anyone in my fucking life. Like, BB would never.
Yeah, but didn't you say that BB was boring? You did. You said, oh, he's a nice guy, but he's boring. And you cheated on BB. Didn't you? You cheated on poor BB. Good, hardworking man, decent guy. He was so good that even the Kiwi farmers, who have an entire thread on you, and they go digging around for people that you hang out with, the Kiwi farmers had nothing bad to say about BB. They wished him well, because they could see he was a good, hardworking man. But you call BB boring. So here's Natter. Natter's not boring, and he's toxic for you, and you're toxic for him, but you won't tear yourself away. But talking about BB right here, BB would never. Well, maybe what you're going through right here was just desserts, because you hurt that man. You cheated on that man. You did not appreciate that good man. So here's the complete opposite. Someone who is so not like BB. Guess you don't like that either.
And Dee Dee, like what? Like, was your ex-husband like this? You like staying around for a whole month in this shit? You like being an employee where you pay to fucking work for Natter? You like that? You must like it. Oh, yeah, I fucking loved it. Huh. Oh, my God. So he gets Debbie to message me. Chantal, you know he can get in trouble. He can't answer your phone calls. But you can come over tomorrow and talk to him. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee, for your fucking permission to come spend
Take the next flight onto New York 122.
You know, like, I'm not in Natter's head. Don't want to be in Natter's head. He's a scummy person. But I know why he probably did what he did. I can take a guess. See, Natter's not stupid. He knows Chantal. He knows she's a toxic, manipulating, conning little mess of a woman. And he doesn't want anything that she can use against him. He's not going to allow any kind of evidence that she can turn around and say, well, remember when I texted you about seeing you? I've still got that over your head, so you've got to just come to heel now. He's going to see Chantal, but there could be no evidence about that. If you come over to the house, there's no text proof, there's no video proof, there's no any proof. So he wanted her money. And he knew that the only way to get to that money was to get it physically from her. Then she would give it. But he did not want to give her anything that she could hold further over his head. You know, say something in text, do something in text that she can say later, well, I'm going to go to the cops with this and prove that you broke the order. No. He was smart enough to know not to give her anything further than what she already had.
Where I have paid the rent many times. Oh yeah, thank you for your permission to fucking come over. Oh my God, I can't. I'm in disbelief. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's another thing. So this abusive man, he's so abusive. He's so horrible. He's got the black-eyed rage. You know, he hit her so hard that she saw stars. She paid his rent. She paid his phone bill. She paid his cable bill. She bought his food. She bought him clothes. She took him on expensive trips to Montreal, like stayed in 5-star hotels. Even after the allegations, sneaking off with him in sleazy, disgusting, rundown motel and hotel rooms. Yep. Yep. Spending all that money for that companionship to get that fake love. Had to get it. Couldn't go without it. Doing all that. Can't be me. Can't relate. Somebody in your life is abusive. You get away, you stay away. You don't pay their way. You don't fund them and their lifestyle. You get away. Far away, and you stay away. You don't even think of their name. So many things about your alleged abuse don't make sense to me, will never make sense to me. And another thing, and I just remembered this, it's interesting. Chantal did a live stream, I forget how long ago, but the moment she said it, a light bulb went off in my head. She did mention that there was a time period in her life where she worked at a abused woman, battered women's shelter. And she would cook for them and do all kinds of things for them. But she did say that. The moment she said that's when I made the connection. I'm like, oh, really? You worked at a place like that? Well, that would make sense. That would make absolute sense. Why you're able to talk about alleged SA and DV? Because you worked at a place with women that had those things happen to them. And more than likely, they told their stories and you listened and you took notes. That's how you were able to come online and say things like you did. But here's the problem. The real trauma is missing. And unless you've been through that, like there are things that are going to be missing, like the visceral reaction, like I talked about, and the fact that you can't talk about this stuff with everybody. You know, a fake victim does not feel the same, look the same as a real victim. Doesn't sound the same when you're just putting on an act versus actually having lived through it. So more than likely, she worked somewhere, she was somewhere with actual victims, heard their stories in conversation. Maybe she talked to them, maybe she overheard them, and just took some notes and brought it on her channel later.
I just can't believe this is my life right now. Like, this needs to like be out of my life. Like, this is driving me crazy. So now, of course, now.
And you know what? As far as Natter, let's talk about this for a minute. If Natter had been, say, a lot like Salah or Pete's, if she met up with Natter and she was able to easily control, own, possess him the way she did BB, the way she did Pete's, the way she did Salah, she would have lost interest a long time ago. She only maintained the interest as long as she did because she couldn't have Natter, because she couldn't control him. That was the big fascination / obsession. She always wants the most what she can't have the most. She had a good man in BB, had him, got bored. She got Pete's. He was a good guy for a while, got bored. Salah, she's bored. So she met this bad boy that she couldn't tame. And she thought, I'm going to tame him by whatever means necessary. And she tried. She had this fantasy in her head of, he's a bad boy. I'm a bad girl. It's us against the world. Rebel without a cause. That was her fantasy in the moment. She thought that she was the woman that could tame him. Never happened. Bad boys are bad for a reason, Chantal. Bad boys do not become good boys, okay? Like I said, Natter never painted a false picture of himself, but you painted a false one of yourself. You misrepresented yourself. You wanted Natter just because you couldn't have him. You still want him. Still, this abusive person, you still want him deep down. You know you do. You're still thinking about Natter when you were Salah.
it's like fucked up again. Like, what the fuck? And so like I don't get it. So I'm gonna keep a phone on for this guy. And I know you guys don't have sympathy for me at this point. I'm just venting. Actually, I'm not even talking to you guys. At this point, I'm talking to them. So you want me to keep?
Here we go. So this stream was not about talking to her viewers. This is her reaching out to Natter in moments when Natter does not want to talk to her. Because what she's hoping to do is to make him angry and to trigger him to where he gets on his channel and talks back at her. And by doing so, he's giving her attention. In Chantal's world, even negative attention is good attention because you're still focused on her. She always went for the negative attention. Always trying to provoke him. Again, like what did I say? Someone hurts you, you don't want their attention. You don't want them talking about you. You don't want them looking at you. You want them to forget about you. You want to stay away from him. But she was always going for his freaking attention. That looks weird to me.
The phone on, and I'm doing this live because I did warn them. So don't call me a bitch.
And using her channel and using her audience to not only vent, using it as part of her power to get back at him. Like, oh, I've got a big channel. I'm going to blast you in front of everybody. I'm going to get back at you. I feel wronged. I want justice. And I'm going to use a public forum to get justice. I'm going to say all kinds of things about you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're not here physically in front of me. You can't do anything. So I'm going to show my wrath. And she's a vengeful person.
I warned you many fucking times, asshole. You're going to ignore me, and you're not going to answer me, so I'll go live and address you. So here I am. Same thing with Dee Dee.
Yeah, so if Nada would try to stay away from Chantal and just ignore her, she wasn't going to have that. Because as she just said, she will not be ignored. With someone like Chantal, there's no way to just quietly, peacefully separate yourself. She will not allow it. Even if the two of you are like oil and water and you're fighting and it's toxicity all the time, there is no possible outcome. There's no way where you can separate yourself and do it peacefully. You go your way, she goes her way. That's it. Agree to disagree. That mindset of hers will not allow it. She just won't. Her mindset is, until I say you can go, you can't go. Even if we're fighting and it would make perfect sense to stop this, I'm not going to stop. So shutting off the phone and not talking to me is not going to work. Stopping me from walking your house is not going to work. I'm going to keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you until you respond to me. And the more you ignore me, the more intense it's going to get. Would you or would you not, y'all, consider that abusive behavior? Because I would.
You've been warned, so here you are. Deal with it. So, yeah, thank you for the permission to come over today and fucking talk to him. So, it's not okay.
In my personal opinion, and this is just me talking, okay, seeing everything that went down during that time frame, I think Nader got to a point with Chantal. He got tired of her being clingy and jealous and insecure in the rages and the temper tantrums and the everything. I think he reached a point with it all that he purposely brought Dee Dee over and kept her over there just so Chantal could not be there. He did not want Chantal there, and that was the only way he could think of to keep her from badgering him and showing up at his house at all hours wanting to be let in. He was trying to block Chantal from being around him. And Chantal just did not get the clue. She kept going over there. She kept calling him. She kept bugging him. And the more he blocked her from Club Natter, the more she wanted to get in the door.
She didn't give him permission to leave the house with me. Or actually,
I mean, I wouldn't either. Honestly, I wouldn't either. You are unhinged, Chantal. There's no telling what you will do. And see, here's where you screwed up. You want to spend time around Natter. He's got a criminal past. And no, I'm not taking up for Natter. I'm just painting the picture. He's got a criminal past. He's been in trouble before. You're unhinged. And you showed that your anger will go to extreme places. You're threatening criminal charges on somebody. I wouldn't trust you either. Your anger knows no bounds. I wouldn't trust you to be alone either. You're going to do things like that and then just walk up to somebody and expect that they're just going to forget about it. Let's just not talk about it. It didn't happen. Rewrite history. No. Yeah, I can see why Dee Dee did not want Natter to be alone with you. I can see why. I can see why she didn't want Natter to be away from the house with you. Who knows what would have happened?
Talk to me because he can get in trouble. Well, here, I did it for you. I just outed you. You talk to me. Now what? What?
So Meandering says, now what? Your case is done and will never make it to court. You might still make it to court, though. Yeah, like Chantal, you made allegations against this man. You are on this live stream self-confessing that you went to his house. He didn't come to yours. You went over there. You made contact. So anything you said about Natter being scary, he's abusive, blah, 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 the whole case is blown right out the window. Cops are going to look at that and go, what are we talking about here? Obviously, she's not afraid. Obviously, she still wants to go back and talk to this man. What's the point of putting it in front of a judge? So whatever you try to do about Natter this way, you just screwed up for yourself.
Fucking, oh my God. Oh my God. I feel.
Oh, oops. Doggone it. Press another button again. Sorry about that. Sorry. We'll get back to where we were. Sorry about that. I leaned over to get something. Let's go. Sorry.
I just want to fucking erase you from my brain forever and ever. Fucking asshole. Oh, the emotional torment. It's fucking moving, like whatever.
Yeah, sorry about the connection. That was her.
Life together all this time. That's all behind the scenes. You admitted that yesterday. So you did. Do I want you to cry like a little bitch? Yes, because I'm crying like a fucking bitch every day for somebody that doesn't deserve it.
So again, like there's the emphasis on, she said in the beginning of this live stream piece, I want you to hurt the way that I'm hurting. I want you to feel the pain. Now she's saying it again. There's more emphasis on, I want you to feel what I'm feeling versus I want justice for this alleged wrong that was done to me, which a real victim would actually want. If something horrible has happened to you, you want justice. If that person is abusive, if they're violent, to the point where they've done some violence to you, then the right place for them is in jail, correct? It's about justice being served. It's not about somebody breaking your heart or not giving you what you want. You want this person who is violent, who might be a danger to other people, to be put in jail to where they can't hurt other people. This was not Chantal's thinking. She just did not get what she wanted with Natter. She wanted to get back at him. They say that hell hath no fury like a scorned woman. So true, especially in her case. And she was scorned. She was rejected. She was denied. She did not get her prize, Natter, that she felt like she deserved because she paid for him. And that was something she often brought up in the live streams. I bought that for him. I did this for him. You chose to do it, Chantal. Everything you did was a choice, just like everything you do now is a choice. You're all about those bad choices. You chose to give them all that money. You chose to buy the groceries. You chose to pay for the phone bill, the internet, the rent, take them on trips, pay for hotel and motel rooms, pay for the party favors, pay for the liquor, pay for everything. You chose that. You chose to drive over to his house and stay a week and neglect your pets. You chose to be around him. And therefore, you chose the aggravation and the pain that went with Natter. And people tried to stop you. They tried to warn you and say, this is not a good guy. You didn't want to hear it. When given the choice, you always made the wrong choice. Always. With Natter, it was all about, I want this. I want it. I don't want anybody else to have it. Since I paid for it, it's mine. You can't own people. Yet you tried. You tried to own Natter. Did not work. You tried for a year until the fight was over and you were not the winner. But that's still a salty wound for you, isn't it? You still can't get over it. I bet while you're with Salah, you're still thinking about Natter. You're probably still talking to Natter on the phone. That's why the last trip back from Kuwait, suddenly he popped up with new groceries. A lot of them, $500 worth, new clothes. Wonder where those came from. Wonder where those came from. This abusive person that you can't stand, caused you so much trauma, he's popping up with new groceries. Tell me you're still involved with Natter without telling me you're still involved with Natter. You're still keeping that door open, although he's never going to leave Dee Dee. As long as he's with Dee Dee, he's got a house to live in. You don't even have that. You can't provide that, so that game is forever lost. But you try because you want contact with him.
Every day. Because they cared how I felt. Like, seriously, like, how can you even, like, if that was me and he was messaging me over and over and over, and I knew, this is how I know he has no feelings. Like, if that was him and he was messaging me over and over and clearly upset, one, I would never leave him like that, feeling that way. I would answer it eventually, especially if I'm paying for the phone line. Like, that phone line is not getting suspended anymore. It's getting canceled. And, like, he didn't have a phone this whole time. Like, so what, you're just using Dee Dee's shit? And I see you leaning over her, like, you guys are fucking liars. Just fucking come out and say you're fucking each other. Like, that's why emotionally torture me and, like, lead me.
Okay, so Meandering says, what the heck is wrong with her? We all knew that since Christmas. She still needs confirmation. Because she doesn't want to believe that he would actually be with another woman. Like I said, Natter never hid who he was. He always had the same original face all the way through. Chantal was the one who thought she could change his face and own him. Own a bad boy. That would be her claim to fame, owning and reforming a bad boy. Although if she did reform him, then she'd get bored with him.
On like this, behind the scenes, and have me come over. You're a fucking liar, and you deserve to be outed for it.
I find it hilarious that this woman who's gone her entire life being a scammer, being a manipulator, being a liar, she thinks that she's smarter than all of us. She's someone that she plays games with people to get what she wants. That even if somebody is exactly like her, how she did not catch on to what he was doing, considering the fact that she plays those same games. How did she miss that? Maybe it's her ego. Maybe she thought, I would never be scammed. He's not doing that to me. She just fooled herself.
Fucking feel bad for you at all. Dee Dee, you should feel bad.
And you know what? If he were truly an abusive person, truly, honestly, if you're someone, you've been with somebody who is abusive, or let's just say not abusive, just completely bad for you, just a bad individual, wouldn't it be a normal reaction to say, I'm so glad to be away from them? And even if they're with somebody new, wouldn't the thinking be, Now he is her problem. It's not my problem anymore. Wouldn't you be glad to be away from that person? You would. You'd be like, I'm done. I'm out. Let somebody else deal with it. That would be the normal reaction, but it wasn't hers. She didn't have the reaction of, I had a bad experience with this person. It's over now. Let her deal with him. Let him be her headache. I don't have to take aspirin anymore for the headache. I'm done. No, she's resentful she doesn't have the headache anymore.
Fucking day. The salmonella. And for you to burn in the fire of hell for eternity. Because that's where you're going for how you treat people. And you have the nerve against me. Oh, really? How many of your exes have protective orders against you, Natter?
Well, Chantal, you did this live stream. If there was a protective order against Natter, you just blew it. Because earlier in the stream, you confessed to going to his house, which you should not be doing. You just did not do that. You went over there. He did not go to see you. So he's not in trouble. You are. You broke the order. You went to go see him with coffee. Imagine being a police officer in a room with Chantal complaining about Natter. Imagine them looking at her, listening to her telling the police officer to arrest him or put him in jail or something. And them looking at her and saying, well, what did he do? And her saying, I went over to his house with coffee and green products. What their thinking would be. They would look at her and laugh her right out of the place.
Huh? Delphine had a protective order. I know another one of your exes that wanted to. Oh, and the Maria story you had admitted was true, but you say you told me about that before. No, I don't remember. I guess I'm like, I get it. I still don't get it. I don't get, like, why would you even, oh, anyway. And then they're manipulative, so he doesn't get in trouble. She's like, you want to come over and see Natter, not the other way around, right? Yeah, sure, okay. Like, oh my God, why do I allow myself to be treated like this? This is.
That was key. Why do I allow myself to be treated like this? That was key, what she said. Why do I allow myself to be treated this way? So she's basically saying to everyone, I'm putting myself through this. I'm not being forced, nor pressured, nor provoked. I'm making the decision to put myself this way. Do y'all see now why I don't believe this woman? She calls herself a victim. Because a victim is someone that's gone through something or is going through something not of their choice. Someone who may be trapped in a situation, pressured, provoked, forced. She was never forced. So no, I don't believe her victimhood. She was never a victim, ever. Although she's desperate to claim that, her words don't make it true. The pain that Chantal has gone through and continues to go through, it is all by choice. The pain is self-inflicted. You can look at a lot of things going on with her right now. Self-inflicted. Her health problems, her diabetes, her lack of mobility, her labored breathing, by choice. Because she doesn't take care of her health, because she's decided that mukbangs are the most important thing to her. Nobody's forcing her to eat. Nobody's forcing her to a bad diet. She's doing it by choice. Likewise, the bankruptcies. She could stay in Canada and fix them, but by choice, instead of staying in Canada and fixing them, she decided to spend a bunch of money, go back to Kuwait, and be there with Salah and be in complete, utter misery for no random reason other than the fact that Salah is the only thing she's got left in this world. And she's going to hang on to it for dear life. That's another bad choice. All bad choices. All of them. That's why it's not fair for her to get online and complain and trauma dump and pain dump onto her viewers, talking about her pain because it's pain that she could fix and she chooses not to. Filling up people's ears with 1,000 pounds of misery that she's not interested in lightening the load. But you guys can see from this live stream how much of a victim she really is, which is none.
Fucking bullshit. Like, this is bullshit. Oh my god. Like, I'm mad at myself, actually. I'm mad at myself. And stupid. Like,
so that was it from Meandering Thoughts. That was a video. Sorry about the glitches earlier. Just pressing the wrong button. My bad. But I want to show that to y'all. Just because I'm tired of Chantal using the whole victimhood. I'm a victim. My pain is everybody else's fault. It's not my fault at all. Trying to wear some kind of trauma on her arm like a Girl Scout badge. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what she's selling, and nobody else should either. So for any beaters that come over here, you want to know who she is, you want to know what she's about, there you go. There it is. You heard her talking. Her claiming to have been SA'd and DV'd by Natter, but yet this supposed victim was never afraid of her abuser. To the point where she felt completely comfortable, even after the allegations, going back over to the house with coffee and green, which is ridiculous and strange to me. Because no true victim of those things would want to be near the person who committed them. So that's all I got for this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and post to my channel. If you guys like this content, this retro react, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here and have a good one. Bye now.